Welcome everyone to Couch Potato. Today we have with us Kelt Shrestha, who is one of the most experienced comedians in the country, and he is from the Bangalore comedy scene. Hi Kelt,
Hey,
and
alright, hey guys.
of course I have with me my co-host Abhishek Aragunta, whom you have seen earlier on the podcast. Hi Abhishek.
Hi, hi, hi. Hi, Kat.
Hey man,
Am
it's so
I
cool to say hi
pronouncing?
after we already just said hi 10 minutes ago.
No, I was scared that am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, which actually leads the question. When you guys are putting out this podcast,
Yeah.
are you going to use my old spelling or my new spelling
I
for
don't.
Kel?
I'll basically put probably KJELD as your original name, and then in a parenthesis I'll be like
Bracket.
Alright,
KELT. That's how you can spell
do
it.
the inverse. Do the inverse. Right now it's KELD and then within brackets put KJELD.
Oh man, this is how you be a rebel, guys. If you when you don't like your parents, what they've done to you, this is what you do.
You have no idea, dude.
Oh man. So I mean, I'm a huge fan, Kelt. I love your
I know.
writing, and your premises are like very very intelligent. Very witty.
Thanks,
And
man. I think you're complimenting more than I paid you for. Like, I think.
no. I mean, I've been with Shankar on the podcast, and I know how talented you and he are. Because
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are one of the most experienced people in the comedy scene in India. You've been doing it since how many years now?
I just clocked in. Yeah,
7 years.
7 years. Yeah. So it's
Man.
not like one of the oldest, but it's like pretty old in India.
Yeah. That's what I
So-
said. One of the experienced,
Yeah.
comics. Because
Yeah.
a lot of them started in 17, 18 and all, but there are very few who
Yeah.
started back in 14, 13, 12 and all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand. Oh man. So how is the
Shanky
journey?
actually-
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Shanky, I think, started just a couple of months before me.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
was
think
started around 15.
he started. He told me that he started. I think in 13 somewhere.
Yeah,
and,
he started end of 2013. I
yeah,
started early
yeah.
2017.
Yeah, and
So
he told
you-
me that he'll be completing his 8 years in I think
8 years,
September,
yeah.
October, sometime like that. Yeah.
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 So when you started your open mics, you had a full-time job, is it?
No, man, I was an idiot about it. The moment I found out that comedy existed in India, I just
Okay.
quit my job before attending a single open mic. And
Is it?
then, I finished my notice period, then spent a month at home just writing, and then came for my first open mic.
Oh man,
It's
you
the-
you
it's
came
the
with
stupidest thing you
preparation.
can do. Yeah, it's the stupidest thing, man.
Oh,
Now I
man.
regret it, but
Cheers, Kelt. I mean, I didn't have a job for a really, really long time. Since the last 1 year, I've been planning to do stuff on social media and YouTube. And I'm like, I'll be this personality that, everyone adores online. And I adore people online. So I'll be this personality. And in that fit, I never did a job.
Couch Potato is a hell of a name. You have chosen. I wish I could choose a name like that instead of Kelp. So having to change the spelling again and again.
Oh, man. I mean, it fit my, what can I say, KPI really well when I was, when I started the channel. So I was like, let's just go with this. Anyway, you started in 2014, and when did you
Yeah.
start getting laughs really on your, this thing, premise and jokes?
I don't know. I think like about a month in, I guess.
Okay.
Like, are we
That's
talking
nice.
about? Are we talking? Okay. How intense are the laughs?
Yes.
Like that's a different question altogether. 'Cause I think I started getting laughs pretty early.
Okay.
Okay.
But then I plateaued. Like in order to go to the next level
Yeah.
of because man, in 2014 comedy was so new in India that I used to do a
Ah.
joke about how I don't speak Hindi. That the only Hindi I know was haan, magar, pyar, zindagi, band show. I would end it with a band show, and it would get a huge laugh.
Oh,
And I used to be like, wow, I'm fucking killing it. This is the best. And then 6 months later is when I realized like, oh no, that's a shit joke. People who are laughing are dumb. Like I can't really.
that is just because of the word.
Yeah. Around the time when I think it was 2015
Yeah.
end that Shanky and I and Suman had gone to Hyderabad to see Karunesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we had a show ourselves. We finished our show, and the next day, Karunesh had a show,
Yeah.
and we saw him, and it was the first time we were exposed to like tags and afterthoughts and side
Yeah.
tangents, and we were like, "What is the insight?" And that's when we were like, "Oh my god, okay, we have to rewrite a lot of jokes. We have to like drop a lot of shit." So in that sense, credit where credit is due. Bombay Comics were the ones who first showed us that like simple jokes aren't really that good. Like the concept of hack comedy
Yes.
was introduced to us by Bombay Comics, because there the scene was more like advanced, it was more exposed at that time. That time, right? I'm not taking pot shots now, especially great. I'm just saying, like, Bangalore is catching up.
Yeah. I mean, catching up is, I think you're being humble, because I think the audience in Bangalore is so open to all this now that you have a much more versatile audience, dude. I mean, if you go
Yeah.
to Mumbai, you will have a lot of Mumbaikers, sitting in the
Mayank, I
hall.
think now you're starting to. You're trying to start a territory problem.
No,
fight, okay?
no,
Like,
no.
This
But
this is not a beef. I'm not trying to. All Bombay comics are good, right? I'm not trying to.
of course, I love a lot of Bombay comic Tanmay, but like I adore him so badly. What can I say? I mean, he has
Yeah,
moved
yeah.
on from stand up, but I understand. So it's
Mayank,
like
great save. Mayank, great save.
Tanmay, I started my YouTube channel seeing you. Okay, don't take any offense. But yeah, seriously, Mumbai and Delhi are a lot of like there's a lot of regional audience that come into play. But with Bangalore, I think the demographic of Bangalore is very different, right?
Yeah.
Because
as
like
such.
Silicon Valley of India.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the reason you have a lot of audience.
Yeah, true. Bangalore also has like a strong Kannada stand-up circuit now.
Yeah. Shankar
now it just started.
Shankar actually shed light on that last time. He was like, now Kannada circuit is also getting a
It's also
lot of
exploding,
recognition,
yeah.
and it's good that the regional comics are getting this thing. In fact,
But
even on Clubhouse, Abhishek, I think you found Malayalam.
Yeah. I'll tell you today what happened. I saw a group of only Malayalam stand-up comedy. 1,800 people were watching that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
1,800. I took a screenshot. I'll send it to you on Instagram after the podcast. 1,800 members.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Audio
Only
only
Malayalam.
on Clubhouse.
Yes.
People have been
Jesus
doing
Christ.
open mics and shows on. They've been trying jokes on this thing, dude. Clubhouse, because once they see a stand-up comedian with a mic on, in the DP, at least 20-25 people will come to just hear the kind of bullshittery that's going on, and that's when they're like, guys, I want to try a joke, and they're like, okay, we don't have anything to do. We're not in the speakers panel. Let's just listen.
But
That's
who
how
are
it is.
these people? Are the jokes good? Like,
A lot of
Sometimes.
them are, but sometimes people just bomb because there are no expressions and all, no? So
okay,
obviously,
yeah.
it's just your premise and voice modulation maximum that you can do.
Hey man, that's actually a good handicap. That'll actually help you write better. also.
Yeah.
Yes.
That does.
Yeah.
So guys, Kelt is also coming on Clubhouse probably by tomorrow.
No. I,
But coming back to the stand-up scene, how many open mics used to be there in Bangalore before like 2013?
when I started,
Yes.
there were only 2 open mics a week, and the second open mic a week had just started. At that time, we had only like 20 comics in the city, man, and this is like 20 including all the big names that are now big names. At that time, they were like not that big. I mean, none of them were big actually. Like, Shanky was a truth. Shanky was not a big name. Shanky was the guy who'd just be like, "Hey, bro, I have a new joke. Okay, like let's go." I mean, he still does that, but now he does that with attitude. So it's
Shankar was like when he was on the podcast, he was like, for 4.5 years, I felt like I would puke right before going on the stage.
he would. Man, it was he had that nervous tick.
Yeah.
So like before he would, but the weird part is like he would puke, then go up on stage and then destroy.
Oh man.
Like
That's
it was just
amazing.
something he had to shake off over time. It's I guess it's a psychological thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I think everybody takes the time to get comfortable on stage, right?
Yeah.
Because
What happens to you like before?
yeah,
I used to sweat a lot.
man,
Like
it's
I
the
used to
same
sweat
with
like
me.
a motherfucker. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, even if the show was going well, when I used to come off my t-shirt would be fucking wet. It's why I started wearing a lot of black t-shirts because it's
Yes.
I
All these
bought a lot
videos,
of
man.
black t-shirts for the same reason.
yeah. Everybody used to be like, "Are you trying to be like Louis C.K.?" And I was like, "No. I'm just trying to have less sweat stains."
Oh man, I
It's
swear. So when did you start doing shows essentially, like selling tickets?
I don't remember. Like the first ever open spot I got
Yeah,
at a professional show
yeah.
was in August or September of 2014.
Oh, pretty early, 6 months into
Yeah,
the
I
scene.
was like 6 months into the scene,
Yeah.
and then they had given me like my first spot, and then from the first spot to like my actual featured act
Yeah.
set, that happened I think like in October or November.
Wow.
Either late October or early November. Dude, like I said, man, at that time there weren't that many comics, so it
Yeah.
wasn't really that difficult to
Yeah.
scale up in Bangalore. Like when you go to because Bangalore didn't have a club.
Yes.
Yeah,
At least
yeah. At
Bombay
that
had a
time.
club. So Canvas was like partnered with the Comedy Store back then. So I mean, there's a lot of backstory there, which I don't think I'm the one who should say in the recorded video. But they used to have that like a step process. You had to first win the open mic. You had to first do an
Yes.
open mic, then win the open mic, then you become a host, then you do a open spot, then a feature, then you get the half-hour headlining and all that.
Wow.
So yeah, and all the big names used to be in Bombay, so it was like much harder to like
Yeah.
to do the process. Bangalore was small at that time,
Yeah.
so it was easier.
But it is also good to support the local comedy scene, right? Just at your place or whatever the regional place
yeah,
it is.
ideally, man. Like you
What do
said,
you? Yeah, sorry.
no. Sorry for interrupting, but like you said earlier, Bangalore audience is the most like diverse that I have seen. So it's really tough in general to get the audiences on the like. This is the weird part. If a famous comic comes to Bangalore, audiences are extremely soft. You know, they're like they're very. I don't want to say they're easy, but like 'cause I'm not trying to take credit away from the comics who come, but they're fans, so they laugh better.
Yeah,
But
that
if you're
happens.
not-
I agree
Yeah.
as a fan to that, dude. For sure. Because
Yeah.
when you're in a show where there is a recognized name, you're
Yeah.
like, oh man, this guy's already so funny. I'm ready to laugh as hell.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you go to the show and you're like, you crack up at anything. That's how it is.
Yeah, you crack up at anything, but
Yeah.
like if it's a normal open mic,
Yeah.
if they know that none of the audience, it's like the audience knows that if a comic is good in Bangalore, he will leave Bangalore for Bombay. Okay, because that's what's been happening so far all the time.
Yeah.
So they have this, I guess they have this misconception that if I see a Bangalore comic who's still in Bangalore, he's probably not that good. This is just a conspiracy that I have. I don't know if it's actually true or not, but it's how I feel because the audiences are hard, man. You have to like fucking go all out. You have to like listen. I have jokes.
I think this is true because everyone ranging from Kenny, Rahul, Kannan, everyone who started in Bangalore is now
they
in
left.
Mumbai.
Yeah. Not only them, man. Like there was Naveen Richard.
Yeah.
A lot of them left. Shanky is the only one who made it, who
Yeah.
chose to stay back in Bangalore.
Yeah. True.
Everyone else left.
Shankar actually told me that Tanmay told me that come here, I'll pay for all your expenses when you're shifting.
yeah,
You start
yeah.
in Bangalore, but then he was like, I just don't want to come. Why are you forcing me for no reason at all? I like it
And-
here in Bangalore.
Do you guys watch anime? By
I
any
do.
chance?
I do.
Yeah, so you know, like in Dragon Ball Z, Goku always used to wear weighted boots
Yes,
and
yes.
weighted. That's what Shanky is basically doing. He's trying to handicap himself by being like, no, Bangalore is harder, so I'll be in Bangalore. Fuck the money, fuck the fame. Because it's stupid. Like Shanky can be way more famous
Yeah.
if he actually goes to Bombay. But he's like, I don't want to do that. I want to become a great comic, and he's like staying back in Bangalore.
I think comedy is a marathon for all of
It
you
is.
guys.
It
Not
is.
only for Shanky, but you have put a lot of content on YouTube. Like how many? What is the total number of minutes you have put on YouTube?
Minutes. I've put a little more than 1 hour and 20 minutes.
That's what. That's what.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no one's watching it, dude. I think it's the name. It's why I changed the name. We'll see how it
Oh
goes.
man. Don't worry, when I go viral, I'll definitely. Just kidding.
No, please.
Oh,
It's yeah, as long as I also make it, man, I'm cool with that. It's see, that's the thing. I don't mind. I don't care about others making it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because even like Anand and Naveen started after me, and they made it. But I'm their opening act now sometimes, which is very annoying because Naveen likes to point it out. Okay, he's a fucking truth. Okay, but I'm not. That doesn't affect me at all because I don't care. All I care about is when I will make it. I need to-
But just adding to a point, you have your own audience. You have your own audience who understands your content. Like, be it me, when I start like or Mayam, when we
Yeah.
start watching your videos, we were like, man, this has to be put out there.
Exactly. And we always, me and Abhishek are always discussing why aren't Kelt and all these guys from Bangalore actually getting famous? Why aren't they getting viral? I mean, even Anand, you say that he has made it. But if you see his podcast right now that is putting on YouTube, they aren't getting as many views as he should get because of the
True.
virality that happened last year. So I'm like,
True.
what the hell, dude? People are coming, watching the stand-up video, and then forgetting about you guys. Like,
my biggest fear, I genuinely hope I'm wrong,
yeah,
is I think it's because of the English. I don't know, because at the same time there are comics like Kenny and even in Hyderabad, Sai Kiran
yeah. Oh,
and
Sai Kiran.
Sai Kiran, Vivek Muralidharan,
Yes.
Vivek,
RSM.
Vivek and RSM and Bhavneet also. They're all majoritarily English.
Yeah.
Yes.
But so they are making it. I mean, they're getting more views. So I really don't know why Anand is not like getting more.
But
views.
but
It's weird.
I feel in the long game, suddenly you become famous. 2 years, 3 years down the line, you'll be getting there. Like
I
then it will
hope
be
so.
your game. Then it'll be your game.
I hope so. That's all I can say. It's
Man, just do one thing. Put Shankar in a suitcase and just go with him to Mumbai. Do with him, go to Mumbai, and both of you will become famous because somehow it's an easier audience there. I don't know.
no, I'm not commenting on the audience there because I've only like gone there and done shows only to record and come back.
Yeah.
And I've done other shows there, I've had good nights. But when I go there, I'm even more on point. I'm not experimenting. I'm going with my best jokes
Yeah.
because I'm in a different city. I have to prove a point.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they are in general over there. But Bombay kind of scares me sometimes.
Yeah.
For only financial reasons.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
too
yeah.
expensive, man. The rent there
It is.
insane. And some of my friends there tell me, like, this is something Biswa used to say. It's just like, to just come here, get a writing gig, and just fucking stay in Bombay. And I always used to say no, and I'm still saying no only because it's like if I'm writing something else
Yeah.
and I get satisfied with the money that I get from that,
You might.
what if that's just that fear of, because I'm fundamentally very lazy, man.
And 5 years down the line, you'll be like, all those 7 years of my life went down
Yeah.
the drain just because I came to this fuck all city.
Yeah.
You'd be cursing the city for no reason, whereas you
For
should
no
be
reason,
cursing
and I don't
yourself.
want to be that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I get it. But yeah, dude. I mean, what to each their own, as they say. So I
Yeah.
really hope that people understand the potential you guys have because. What do I say? Potential. You already have it. That's how it is. It's not about the
In that
future.
sense,
Yeah.
like who I am actually like very jealous of is like rappers in India. I swear, man, like, because the fans of rap in
Yeah.
India are already catching up to fans of rap in the West. You know, they're
They're
like, bro, rhyme scheme dekha kya? Oh, bro,
damn
like
loyal, damn loyal, and damn
they're,
technical, dude. That is
they're damn loyal
honestly
and they're
true.
damn technical. Like
Exactly.
I don't even speak Hindi properly. I don't speak Hindi. Okay, like
Yeah.
I'm learning now a little bit here and there. But there are this group called Seedhe Moth.
Oh, I love them.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
it's a
Dude,
duo. It's a duo.
it's a duo, and you go to their like comment section and all. Okay, the guys commenting there, they're talking like their knowledge of the art form is as in depth, or it's close to being as in depth as fans of rap in the West.
Yeah.
But comedy does not have that.
Yes.
True.
yes.
Like
Very
fans
true.
of comedy in India don't know what a premise is. They don't know what a tag is. It's that level of exposure or like appreciation for it hasn't come yet.
It's a very niche audience. Very niche audience.
Yeah, I guess.
And honestly, this I'm not taking sides or anything, but this is because I've observed my North Indian friends. You know, like people who
Okay.
stay in North and they are from North. I am from Bihar, but I've stayed always in Visakhapatnam. Like I've been born
Okay.
and brought up here. So
Okay.
those are the people, whenever, even if they watch specials and they follow those comedians out west, they never get into the technicalities whatsoever. They're just like, bro,
Yeah.
just laugh. No, what the hell? I'm like, that's so
Exactly.
ignorant of you. There is so much.
Yeah.
There is so much that has been put into it, and you're just ignoring all of that. There would be around 1 in 20 people, okay,
Yeah.
who would actually discuss
Yeah.
and research about that shit, as to how is Louis C.K. doing what he's doing, how,
Exactly.
it is
Yeah.
like, I mean, 1 in 20 are the people who actually know what is dark and light humor. That's the kind of research I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So
I think it's because people are too scared to look dumb about their opinion. Like comedy is subjective.
yeah,
Is the
Yes.
most overused statement I have seen.
yeah.
Like to be honest, all art is subjective.
Every art is subjective.
Every art is subjective, but when they're defending their opinion on what they like, only in comedy do you hear it so much.
Exactly.
Because I think if they try to defend and they don't want to look stupid by explaining why they like someone, like when people ask me, dude, why do you like Shanky so much?
Yeah.
I'm just like, bro, comedy is subjective. Because
man.
I don't want to explain that Chunky is a truth, and I like the truth things that he says, like. Because if I say that honestly, then people will be like, "Oh, you're a truth. You like truth comedy, yeah?" Like like who I am my taste will be revealed.
Oh my
So
god.
instead of saying that, I'll just be like, no, comedy is subjective.
But also to add on to, you can't compare any comics basically. You can't compare.
You can, dude. That's what annoys me. I want
Yeah.
more people to do it. It's
See,
okay.
comparison is also, I think, on the basis of genre, right? If two,
Yes.
Yeah.
if two
Yeah.
comedians have the same genre, you can obviously compare how better they're telling their stories and how well they're actually putting
Exactly.
it into words. So obviously there is a comparison everywhere, but yeah, it is based on genres, I think.
No, see, okay. Let me rephrase what I said. Like I am against comparison,
Yeah.
but I love debates.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
what.
everyone
Like
does.
everyone does. Like in the sense, if I'm going to get into a conversation with someone in a debate
Yeah.
where I say I think Bill Burr is the best comedian,
Yeah, and someone
you
says
tell
Dave
me-
Chappelle.
yeah, and you tell me Dave Chappelle is the best comedian, that is a comparison I would love to have.
Oh man,
Just as a debate, that's why.
Just as a debate.
I'm having
Because it will be
goosebumps
like-
thinking about it.
I know, right? Because dude, that conversation will be so entertaining.
Yeah.
Because it will really be an understanding of each other also. If I try to explain to you why my favorite comedian is Chappelle,
Yeah.
and you tell me a name like Norm Macdonald, we both will be like, oh, you were actually that kind of a guy.
Yeah.
And we will understand each other also better.
Yes.
Exactly.
Now, that is a debate I love. But at the same time, if you're trying to tell me like, no, I can't take a bad name.
Of
here.
course.
But, but if you're trying to compare, let's say Chappelle
Yeah.
with a comedian who is maybe as famous but who is not as good, right? Like I'm not naming names here, but because I don't want to
Yeah,
be a
it's
dude.
fine.
Because dude, if you achieve that much,
Yeah.
you've
Yes.
already at least achieved that much,
Yeah. Of
right?
course.
So that you have to
Agree.
give credit at least there. But I don't want to do it because I'm also in that same field. We are
Yeah.
still trying to be part of that like brotherhood, that
Yeah.
community basically.
Yeah.
But I want audiences to be able to tell that Chappelle is a great comic, but this guy is just a sellout.
Man. Yeah. That is true.
I want audiences to be able to tell that.
Of course.
Because if a comedian does it, it's bitching. And I don't want to bitch. I don't want to be that guy. But I want audiences to know who is good and who is bad. Like, again, coming back to rap, it's like that whole mumble rap and actual rap thing.
Yes.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes,
True.
yes.
Like it's one thing is just shit, and
Yeah.
the other is a fucking art form in itself.
Yeah.
And even if rappers are not fucking with each other, like audience members will shit on mumble rap audience, saying like, "Just shut the fuck up! I can't understand anything."
I swear.
In comedy, we need that. We need that
Yes.
culture, and
I really want to see one audience fan base, getting into heated debate with other
it's
audience
another
fan
audience fan base. That would be so cool.
And actually eventually both the fan bases start to actually appreciate the other one's choice because of
Yeah.
the technicalities that they talk about, and then they're
Yes,
like, oh,
yes.
that's how they're different, so I should try this, I should
Yeah.
look into it this way with a new perspective.
Like, to be honest, in Indian comedy, one of my favorite comics is Sumit Anand.
Man.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I love
I
it.
really love his style because there is a lot of craft in it. He's
Yeah.
actually sat down and written those jokes in that style. There's a lot of thought going behind it, even though he's trying to be like,
Have you seen his podcast with Abish?
yeah, I have the journey of a joke.
That was like, what Kelt is saying right now, Abhishek, is like Sumit is very, I mean, he's so crafted with his technique, okay?
Yeah.
But if you watch that podcast, when Abish asks him, how do you write your jokes? He's like, man, I don't know. I just sit with a paper for 4 hours and somewhere in
Something
between.
will come, yeah.
Somewhere in between for 10 minutes, something will just hit my brain and I'll put it on the piece of paper I have in front of me. That's how he talks. And I'm like,
Yeah, no. The beauty of someone like of him saying something like that
Yeah.
is technically that's how any great writer writes.
Yes.
It's with a pen and a paper, and they have to actually write it down.
yeah.
A lot of shit you write is bad, and then you refine that, and then it's like Louis says that in Talking Funny.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I will
Yes.
write an hour, and then I'll take the best half of that hour and delete the second half and try to write another half hour.
Man.
And I'll make that half hour be stronger than this half hour. It's like how like to quote Louis C.K., it's how the Japanese used to make their swords, the katana. They take the
Oh,
metal
yes.
and then fold it, straighten it out, and then fold it so that it's so fucking sharp.
Yeah.
Sumit does that, but he plays this character that I'm going to be like, hey, no,
Yeah.
I'm a dumbass, that.
The
so people don't-
casual, easygoing
the
character.
casual thing.
Yeah.
So people don't understand that like that's actually well written. Now, if I like in India, if I had to compare Sumit Anand with someone like Upmanyu,
yeah.
I would that would be like an interesting fucking conversation.
Yeah.
Like if you see their fans talk to each other, at least that would give me hope
Yeah.
For
That-
comedy, yes.
for comedy, because I'll be like, okay, if there are people who are at least like this interested in comedy, maybe they'll see my video someday. Like, there's a little bit more hope there.
Oh man.
That was nice, man.
That is
Yeah, man,
true.
because if all three of us are on the same lineup one day,
Yeah.
and then one day, okay, like I'm just saying, and then I come out, and then they ask like, what did you like? Who did you like? And the audience members are like, see, comedy is subjective, like I'll get pissed, okay? I'll be like, motherfucker, have an opinion. Why are you always trying to escape?
That would literally be you being 12 years into this craft and us being like 4 or 5 years into this craft, and you'll go like, man, so I've given a decade to this shit and people are still like, comedy is subjective.
Yeah. Oh man, it's one of my nightmares, dude.
Oh,
I hope
man.
it doesn't fucking happen.
But what is your process of writing? Like, Does it take time for you? Because we have seen,
See,
right, Mayank, like videos on videos, there is a lot of writing. This thing we can see it in your videos.
Yeah.
How do
thanks,
you?
man. See, what I do is I sit down for 4 hours with a pen and then one line will hit me and I will
Guys, you can call me Abish from tomorrow. I have a new.
this is this is the Sasta version.
Oh man.
But yeah, on a serious note,
Yeah, on a serious note, oh shit, you're actually asking me. I truly believe that the stage is the greatest and only teacher of comedy.
Wow.
It's something I truly believe. It's what I've always been saying, because there are so many jokes that I have faith in. Because in my head, I'm like, this will be funny, like
Yeah.
this will make people laugh. And then I will take it to the stage and I will bomb with it. It won't work. And that will crush me. I won't be able to sleep for like 3-4 days.
You know, that is actually the case with all the open micers throughout the set.
Yeah.
We write 4, 5, 10 minutes of set and we're like, oh my god, I've written such great material. And then we go
Yeah.
on stage, nobody relates, and they're like, Charles Xavier, seriously? That's what
Yeah, no, but it's exactly that, man. But
Yeah.
I think the open mics in general
Hmm.
are the best way to find out which is a joke you have to work on
Yeah.
and which is a joke you should just abandon. Like it will, because I think that's where also the amount of skill you have
Yeah.
and the amount of pride and ego you have
And the
is
attachment.
tested correctly.
The attachment to the written material.
The attachment, yeah. It's tested correctly.
Yeah.
Because if you have enough faith in a joke that is not working,
Yeah.
but okay, I am doing something bad right now, but
Yeah.
I can turn it around and get a laugh.
Yeah.
That's where your skill improves.
Hmm.
But at the
Yes.
same time, there are some jokes that don't work. And that's when I realize, okay, I should let go of this joke, because if I think, no, I can still make this funny, then I'm
Yeah.
just being too proud.
Oh.
Like my ego is so big, I think I can make it work, but it's actually not that good. Like I should just unnecessary. I should drop it.
Got it. Got it.
I think the stage is the only teacher, man. Honestly, it's my opinion.
So, what kind of comedy do you like to do? This is for our audience, not for us. We know, but but what is your favorite kind of comedy that you're like? Okay, let me go with anecdotal / observational / one-liners.
To be very honest, I don't know.
Wow.
That is the one thing I have not decided or asking or will try to decide. I don't want to.
Okay.
My only ambition is, if I do a special or every time I do a show, whatever set time I have, throughout that time, people should be laughing. And they should be laughing in such a way where my joke should be so good that no one should ever say, man, that was hack. I just want to do jokes that are not hack, that are fucking funny for the time that is given to me. Like, I don't care about the style. I don't care about anecdotal, political, topical, observational. That I don't care. I really don't care. Because I have seen the best do it in all of these styles. And I personally can't pick who's the best. I have favorites.
Yeah.
But my favorites keep changing depending upon where I am in life at that time.
Yeah.
Like last year, this time, I would have told you, man, Bill Burr or Chappelle is the best.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm in that phase where I'm going back to old comedy.
Okay.
And like Richard Pryor for me is the best.
Oh.
And right in between the two lockdowns, Brian Regan was my favorite.
Oh.
And I got so annoyed that when Brian Regan dropped his special, suddenly all Indian comics started talking about Brian Regan again. You know, I got so annoyed because I was like, fuckers, you're just saying this now because you want to be in the in crowd,
this
you know.
this happens to me a lot. Like somebody starts talking about suppose let's say Stanley. I'm a huge fan of Stanley. I've been
Yeah.
following Marvel comics since like 10 years now.
Yeah, me
And
too.
then some cinematic universe fan comes and says, "Bro, Iron Man is great. Like Robert Downey Jr. has
Yeah.
played a great Iron Man." I'm like, "Fucker,
Yeah.
he has just played Robert Downey Jr. on screen. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
I am a true fan. Shut up. That's how
You
it
know,
is.
it's like when people started talking about Civil War,
Yeah.
you know, and I was like, have you read the comics?
Exactly.
You know, because the story is a bit different. I mean, very different from the
Completely
movies.
different. Yeah. Oh,
And-
only the Registration Act is the one that they've
Only the
gone with.
Registration Act is the same.
Yeah.
Like how when they started itself, you know, there's Professor X, Doctor Strange.
Exactly.
Like in the movies, Doctor Strange hasn't even like been introduced yet. Like it was so, and I was like, dude,
And X-Men are still fucking their shit up using
In the movies,
their fucked up
yeah.
timelines and all.
yeah, fucked up timelines in the movies, man. Like,
Yeah.
but in the books, House of M
Yeah.
is such a great fucking epic saga. Like, it's a great
WandaVision was based on that.
Slightly based,
Yeah,
slightly based.
yeah.
But she still hasn't had the 2 kids who are going to die, and then like, none of the.
No. The point is, they did no. Like WandaVision had that, but
Yeah, I mean,
the problem was Agatha Harkness. Like instead of Harkness, it should have been Strange
Yeah.
coming in and depowering her and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's what apparently they were trying in the last episode. I mean, Harkness was still the main villain in WandaVision, but
yeah.
he wanted to have Doctor Strange in the last episode.
Exactly.
But they were like, why make it like everyone will focus on Strange rather than Scarlet? So they wanted to like.
I don't
change it.
think after that upgrade it would have just been Strange we would have been focusing on, dude.
Yeah,
Honestly,
but-
the people who are true fans would have not, I think, weighed Strange above Scarlet.
Yeah, but also in WandaVision, they also the whole story was contained to that one town.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yes.
But in House of M, it affects the whole world, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it affects the whole Marvel universe.
yeah, the Marvel universe, and that is insane. Like
Yeah.
there's how Wolverine is affected by it,
Kate-
how Peter Parker is affected by it.
We are gonna have a conversation on this in another podcast, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
This is epic.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Dude, this
since
anime-
Abhishek might sleep,
All right, I'm so sorry. All right, I'm so
No,
sorry.
no, it's fine. It's fine.
but yeah. So as you were saying that depending on your different positions in your life, your favorites
Yeah,
keep
I-
changing, right?
Yeah, my favorites keep changing.
So essentially, your sets are something of sort of a mix of these things. Whatever thoughts you find funny, you
I
put
hope
them
so.
in your set.
Yeah,
Okay.
I hope so. And luckily enough, I do have some observational jokes, some topical jokes, some anecdotals.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess I'm all over the place.
So the point is, when it comes to technicalities of comedy, okay, these types go hand in hand with what you call tags, segues, and all these things, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
how do you not look at the type of comedy you're doing and like still make sure that tags, segues, and all these technicalities are in place? You know, how do you do that?
This is just me, but it's
Yeah.
also like a fear, like an insecurity for me.
Yeah.
I don't follow any of that shit.
Whoa.
No, I'm saying insecurity. That's also why I'm insecure.
Yeah,
like
I
I
get
said,
it.
man, my only teacher is the stage. Okay.
Yes.
Like I am just going to try and pack as many jokes as possible
Yeah.
in that time. But I also know that that's why there are comics like Anand
Hmm.
or Shanky.
Hmm.
Actually, nowadays Shanky is a lot more like me. Like he doesn't think too much about the technicality of it.
Yeah, he
just
actually
want-
showed me a list, and he was like,
Yeah.
So these are the 160 thoughts,
He has
funny
160
thoughts.
thought, yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
all I go with in a comedy show, and I just spill whatever I want to. I'm like, damn, dude, crazy.
Yeah. But that's also the reason why there are comics like Anand or Somnath
Yeah, yeah.
or
yeah.
Shamik. There's a guy called Gotham. There's a really nice comic called Hari Krishna.
I have heard of
Yeah, but he hasn't put out any video. But he also has like social anxiety and all. Okay, like
Oh.
a little bit. For me, I'm very loud and expressive about it. Hari is like way more quiet, but he also has some like great jokes.
yeah.
That are like you should. Everyone has their own style, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm only
Yes.
saying these names in particular because like I don't think Naveen follows that style at all.
Yeah.
There are comics like Naveen. Suman is very anecdotal. He's mostly anecdotal. There's a guy called Suhas who's also very written. But if you look at, but they're all doing their own thing. But
Yeah.
guys like Anand and Somnath are very technical.
Yeah.
Like when you ask about segues and all that, they're the guys also who kind of scare me sometimes.
Yeah.
Because they are also following that line of writing that guys like Upmanyu, Karmesh, in terms of not style, but in terms of approach.
I get it.
Yes.
In terms of style, they're all different,
Yeah.
but they're also very technical. They want every line to be very measured. This is just something I read on the internet that there are two kinds of writers. There are gardeners and architects.
Oh.
Okay. This applies to any form of writing, not stand-up.
Wow.
This is like novel writing, any kind of writing.
Yeah.
There are architects and gardeners. Gardeners are just guys who just have a thought. They'll just start writing, and then they will just like write fully,
Yeah.
and then edit out the parts that are not good.
Yeah.
These guys are architects, where they're just like they already have a set plan. They're like,
Yeah.
this is what I have to want. This is what I need. This is where the segue should come.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I also get insecure about them a little bit. I'm like, oh shit, like.
I get
But
it.
but it's also the insecurity that pushes me to garden more.
Nice one, Ken.
Yeah,
man.
to be like, oh fuck, I better make more. I better make better. Like,
Ah,
so yeah. So,
I only have leaves to work with, man.
and man, dude, that's how we all start, man. Like it's
Yeah. Sure. True. Actually, true. So, 40 minutes of comedy and stuff like that. I just
Yeah.
love it. I just love discussing stand-up, man.
oh, so do I. Man.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
I feel like it's something that because I get passion. No, it's not passion. It's more like an obsession. I don't know what the difference is anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what the difference is anymore. Now it's like an obsession.
Yeah.
When the first laugh happened to you, was it like a joke book? Like, it's like a drug.
Oh man, it was insane. It was.
What was your
It
experience?
wasn't even a laugh. It was a smile. I'm not even joking. That's not a joke. I'm being very honest. I mean, thank you for laughing. I didn't mean you to stop laughing. Dude, just because I say that's not a joke, I'm being honest, but that doesn't mean I'm like,
Okay.
how dare you laugh at something? I'm not doing that.
I went like.
I'm saying when I say I'm not joking, I'm not asking you to not laugh. I'm just saying that I'm being honest.
Yes,
Like
yes,
it was just a smile.
Yeah.
I was fucking drunk. Okay, it's the like because I'm like I don't want to bomb. I don't know how they're going to react, but I've written this. I just have to do it. Okay, so I'm drunk. I go up on stage, and I'm just doing joke after joke non-stop. There's no pause button. Okay, I'm not waiting to see. Listen, is that joke working or not? Is that
Commas, only commas.
yeah, no commas. Okay, it's just like what, like one train running. Okay, I'm just like fucking doing the joke,
Yeah.
and halfway through one joke, I saw one guy smile and then take a sip out of his drink. Okay, you know when you're bored, you do nothing. You know, you're just like what the fuck. You know, you have that dead face. But this guy, like from that dead face, he smiled. Like that's just like that little head shake. I feel blank. Okay. Oh my god, dude, best feeling in the world. Okay. I
Oh
was just
my
like,
god.
oh yeah. Honestly, that was the best fucking.
Damn, dude.
I got addicted to it. Yeah.
So, talking about Zoom mics now, like, obviously.
I hate it. I swear to God, I hate it. It's the worst thing, dude.
That is true. That is actually true because Zoom mics are something where I think if there are 50 people, 25 people will have their mics and cameras, down, and the out of the rest of the 25, half of them will only have their mics on.
Yeah.
And the rest of them with both the video and the audio going.
Yeah.
The laughs always overlap, right? Because a lot of them are
Yeah.
laughing. So you
Yeah.
never get that reaction what you expect. And you cannot measure your joke properly, I think, your material, because of that very reason, because you don't know how
Very true.
exactly people are reacting, right?
Very true.
Yeah.
And somebody sitting in a banyan listening to your hard work that you have
No,
put in.
but that's why even when you guys were there, like at that show, when Mayank
Yeah,
was there, the
yeah.
show I did with Pratyush, at one point I asked them, because most of the people who still have their on like video on and audio on, I now ask them, how many of you guys want to do comedy yourselves? And every show there are at least two people who raise their hands and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, why? Do you see this is your future, right? Do you see how bright it is?
Yeah.
And that gets a laugh.
I remember I was the one who raised my
Yeah, you are the one who raised their hand. And I was like,
Oh man.
why? You know, it's depressing, man. You know,
Shit.
that's another reason why I wish Indian audiences were also like taking comedy more seriously.
Yeah.
Because the only people, most 99% of the people I've had these kind of conversations with are either comedians or people trying to be comedians. Like, I haven't had normal normal audiences talk about comedy.
Yeah. That is true.
Abhishek, you did Zoom open mics, no? Like you
Yes,
know,
yes,
like
yes.
Mayank, have you done any Zoom open mics? Performed
I have done in front row and a couple of other places, and I have been avoiding these mics because of the reason that it's a Zoom open mic. I love live. I have done around 15 live shows, and I don't really, it doesn't really matter to me if I bomb there, because I know that I'm a beginner and bombing is a process, you know. It's just a process. So I know that I'll bomb. I obviously feel bad that my jokes didn't work, but that's how it is, you know. So, but still, when the joke works in a live, people fucking laugh their heart out. If they are people who actually support comedy, you know. In Visakhapatnam, it's like, if they are coming to the open mics, 10-15 people, man, they really do support comedy, because they are not coming for any of the names, you know. None of us are famous here, so they're just coming here solely because they're comedy fans. So that's one thing that I love about Vizag, and that's the reason I love live mics, dude.
Bangalore used to be like that.
I when you said that when you talked about the fact that Bangalore did not have clubs, I was like, okay, Visakhapatnam 2021 is basically Bangalore 2014.
Yeah, kind of. Like Naveen was telling the same thing actually.
Yeah.
Like you guys still have that like innocent approach, which is so pure. You know, you guys are like coming for comedy.
Yeah.
In Bangalore, normal open mics and normal shows now have like a dwindling audience, very less numbers. But if a big comic comes, they sell out auditoriums.
Yeah.
And so I know there is an audience for Bangalore, for comedy in Bangalore, but I'm like, where did they go? Like, where did the people who came just for comedy, like they stopped coming? And this is just a paranoia that I have, but I think the pandemic proved that. You know, that I think most people who come for these shows, they come so that they can take photos for their own Instagram profile, rather than come for the actual comedy.
Yeah, that is true.
You know, because now I'm like, where did these guys go? Like, they used to be there, now they're not coming. You used to pretend like you were such big fans of comedy. You know how annoyed I get that so many girls on dating apps say that they're fans of comedy and stand-up comedy, and I'm like, I've not seen any of you guys at a fucking comedy show, right? How dare you say you're a fan?
I'll share you a memory actually. Just after the lockdown had opened in October 2020, there were some shows that you guys were putting up. Comedy Shots Bangalore was putting up. I was the only one audience, and I kid you not, all the 6 comics have performed for me.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, yeah.
I think the Anand Ratnam story, that was the one, right, where you met Anand?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was actually, I don't know, but you didn't come that day. You came the next open mic. So I was like, I missed it.
Oh man, like that was in that sense, things have changed. Like in 2017, there's a comic called Gotham in Bangalore, who's also part of the Comedy Shots. He's a really funny guy. He's a very funny comic. But I remember, like before he started, he used to come as an audience member. And I
Oh.
still remember the first time he came to Claytopia,
Yeah.
and he was an audience member there, and I was the host of that night. And before the show starts, he's the guy. He's like a proper business guy. Okay, he's like very like methodical. And before the show starts, he's already sitting inside and waiting for the show to start.
Yeah.
So we're still setting up. I just sound like, oh man, oh you're here for comedy. All right, cool, good to have an audience member like that. What do you watch comedy in general? Who's your favorite comic? Okay,
Yeah.
and he had this like completely stone faced. He was like Bill Burr. Okay, and I was like, God damn. It's an audience member who actually knows proper comedy.
Yeah.
You know, I was fucking scared, dude. Like, I was like, oh shit, did like
Yeah.
now what do I do? Because I got insecure, you know, because I was
Yeah.
like, this is an audience member who knows not just Indian comedy, he knows the best in Western comedy.
Exactly.
Yes.
So all my jokes are going to be judged. Like after a long time, I started sweating on stage again.
Oh
Like,
man. So yeah, I think
But-
and a lot of comics actually agree to the fact that open mics are something where if you have an audience for open mics, they are the true comedy fans. I don't remember
Yes.
someone put it on their Instagram. You know, this same statement that if you're a true comedy fan, all of you should attend open mics. As much as you do shows, because open micers are people who actually need honest reactions and honest reviews on their
Yeah.
sets more than the people who have already made it, because people who have already made it already have a loyal fan
Right.
base, you know, and they will get laughs no matter what. But
no matter like I truly think that's the thing audiences, especially in India, don't understand.
yeah.
Stand-up is a very symbiotic thing. Like
Yes.
the more you invest your time and money in our growth, the more we can give you jokes that will
Yeah.
truly make your investment worth it.
Yeah.
Yes.
True.
Because I have gone to places, there are some parties that like maybe Shanky will take me to, or like no, I'm generally not like that outgoing. Shanky just drags me along and he's like, hey fucker, come down, make some people laugh, and I'll be like, okay. And like, so but I have met people not just through Shanky but like through friends
Yeah.
who don't come to comedy shows or to open mics,
Yeah.
and they're generally the guys who have the most exposure in comedy.
Wow.
And it's come to the point where I now like aggressively attack that point. I tell them, I try to explain to them that I know we're shit. I know Indian comics are shit, but we're only shit because you are not investing time in us.
Yes.
If people with no exposure come to shows and open mics and they're very easily impressed, our comedy will be at that level only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's if you with more exposure come and you show to us that you are not impressed, we will not be able to sleep that night.
That's true.
We will go and we will write so much better
Yeah.
just because you didn't laugh,
True.
because you felt it wasn't enough.
True.
It's why Shanky stayed back,
Yeah.
because like I said, I can't speak for the audiences elsewhere, but Bangalore audiences are fucking tough. They
That is
don't
true.
laugh that easily if they're not your fans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
So it's yeah.
What else? Should we go to the topic we decided on, or
Which one?
the versatility?
The
We-
versatility.
Yeah, we already have an hour of content for today, and me and Abhishek are scared to our guts because we have our offices tomorrow morning.
Oh shit! All right. Oh, dude, I'm good. I'm good either way. So you guys.
So
decide.
can you
How about that?
actually come for a part 2 sometime next week if possible?
Sure, man. For sure.
Yeah, what we can do is then you can talk about the versatility and then the comic part as well. The comics we're discussing, right?
Yeah. Comics, the Marvel comic stuff.
Oh yeah, sure, for sure.
Yes.
All
Done,
right,
done.
let's wrap part 1 here, and thank you for coming and what do I say? शोभा बढ़ाते हैं वो बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में. Abhishek, what do we say that in English, man?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, glorifying our podcast. You know?
Oh, not at all. Oh,
Yes.
thank you for saying that I am glorifying something.
No, for sure. I mean, actually, people who don't know Celt, you guys are fools if you think that you're comedy fans. For sure, you know. And me and Abhishek as true comedy fans can vouch for Celt and all the Bangalore comics.
Thank you guys.
know.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much, Celt, for shedding light
Oh,
on like all of these things that we haven't like the Indian comedy scene is what do I say, ignorant about, you know. And
Yeah,
I really hope they evolve.
I didn't call anyone ignorant, okay? I was just trying to.
No, I am calling them ignorant.
Alright, kick ass.
Because
See, man, I put out 10 videos, okay? I don't want people now to come and then be like, you call me ignorant in a fucking different time.
no, I swear to God, Celt is not calling you ignorant because he's too sweet, but you jackasses are ignorant because I'm serious, because these are the same assholes who come to my YouTube and they tell me, bro, make 8-minute videos instead of 53 minutes and 1 hour videos. I'm like, cool, here's an 8-minute video. And then these fuckers give me 100 less views, man. I'm like,
yeah, dude, never listen to audience members.
I'm like, how
take
does that
their
work,
feedback,
you idiots?
but-
I'm literally giving my ass to you that do whatever you want with it, and you're like, nah, I'm not interested. I know I said that to you last time, but I was just kidding. I'm like, cool. That's how it is. So, yeah,
Alright.
thank you so much, Kelt, for being here. Thank you, Abhishek, for co-hosting this. And next week, you will be having a part 2 where we will be discussing about versatility as a comic and as a successful person. And
Yes.
also, Marvel Comics
and anime, if you guys are into it.
and anime, for sure, dude. That is gonna be a live stream, man. I'm gonna do a live stream on that because I hope it goes on for like 3-4 hours and people are like, holy
I
shit,
will-
man, this is amazing, and they just keep adding on to my channel. I hope
The live stream I will agree to depending on what's your favorite anime. What's your favorite anime? Come on, man, be honest for me. Come on.
Mayak is in
I won't judge you. I'm just simply
Oh
asking.
man, I don't have a favorite right now. Okay, but I'll
Okay.
tell you my top 5. Okay,
Okay, shoot.
so Steins Gate.
Okay.
And Steins Gate Zero, obviously.
Okay.
One is obviously Naruto. Okay.
Okay.
Dragon Ball Z and
Okay.
Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super, not
Okay.
Dragon Ball. What was
Kai.
that? Kai. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that shitty thing
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
That is the third one. The fourth one is definitely which was the Itadori one? Wait, the name was. Okay, one was obviously Demon Slayer. Okay.
Okay. I
And-
haven't seen Demon Slayer yet.
Dude, it's freaking
Yeah.
awesome. All right.
Yeah.
And
It's also the only manga to beat the volume sales of my favorite
One
manga.
Piece. One Piece.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I respect One Piece, but I haven't finished it yet. I still have to
I get
watch
that. I get that.
that is
People-
I'm just gathering that courage. I actually started it in third year of my engineering, and I was like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
finish it. And then
Yeah.
Diwali came, and I was like, okay, let's watch some Prime. And then I did not go back to One Piece, and I was like, fuck.
Honestly, manga is like the anime is great
Yeah.
because the music is insane
Yeah.
and the voices are also really good.
Yeah.
But the manga is next level, man. There is zero fluff.
I
It
know,
is
yeah.
fucking tight.
Yeah.
So,
And the fifth one would be this thing. Man, what is
Death
it?
Note.
Nah, man. Itadori and Gojo Sensei, the one where
Okay.
curses are there, Sukuna and stuff like that. I'll tell you the name right now. Just give me
Okay.
one second.
He doesn't even remember Kelt.
Man,
Yeah, I have-
it is difficult to remember names when it comes to anime, dude. I swear.
yeah. I have seen so many, but there are very few that actually stick out in my memory. And there are some gems that I don't understand why newer audiences aren't going back to watch. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Rurouni Kenshin,
Not yet. No, I haven't.
Samurai X. It's fucking insanely good.
Okay.
You don't even have to watch the whole show.
Huh.
If you watch until episode 70, it's a short anime, as in it's like 100 episodes. But if you watch up to the end of the Kyoto arc,
Yeah.
which is like 70 episodes, it's fucking one of the greatest of all time. There's also a show called Slam Dunk.
I
anime.
have.
It's-
Yeah, I know.
Oh man, it is fucking hilarious and it's great. Dude,
And,
it's a long,
yeah.
it's a long conversation.
Yeah.
We'll
The
do this.
one I was talking about was Jujutsu Kaisen. The fifth one was Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay.
It's-
Okay.
it
I haven't
is-
seen that.
So, Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen are two of the new animes that have come
Okay.
out, and
Okay.
I mean, fucking brilliant, man. These two animes are like as good as the ones when we talk about Naruto and One Piece.
Yeah.
They are legendary when it comes to the longer animes and the longer mangas, which have been going on for a decade and so. And when
Yeah.
it comes to the smaller animes, I think Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer, these two have actually managed to break the stereotypes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
like
heard.
everyone was like, dude, Hunter x Hunter is great and this is great and
Yeah.
that is great, and then Demon Slayer came and everyone's mind was blown to bits. They were like,
Yeah.
holy shit, I've never seen something like this. I'm like, what about Hunter x DA, like, Hunter x Hunter, what about that?
And My
they're
Hero
like,
Academia, yeah. Even Fairy Tail in between, there was a phase when everyone was into Fairy Tail, and then that also everybody slowly started moving
the
out.
pause was too long before the
Yeah.
final arc. The pause was too
Yeah.
long, and that led to the fallout.
That happened to a lot of anime, man.
Yeah.
Sadly,
One Piece actually maintained the pace.
maintain the pace because
Yeah.
the guy who writes it, Eiichiro Oda, is a mad motherfucker. Dude,
You would know if you watch the anime
man, I'm
itself
a big-
that he's a mad
I
motherfucker.
found that anime when I was in 9th standard.
Yeah.
So it's the one anime that I followed for more than a decade,
Damn,
like
dude, that's crazy.
of my life.
Do you
like,
remember
nearly-
Inazuma 11?
No.
There is a football anime called Inazuma 11. So it's
Okay.
they say soccer in the anime, and it used to come on Cartoon Network when I was in school in like 2007-8. All right,
Okay.
at that time. So that was that used to come on Cartoon Network, and there was a guy called Alex Blaze, and all the English names that they put in.
Okay. Yeah,
And
there
then
were a
when
lot
you-
of animes like that. Captain Braveheart.
And then when you see the Japanese animes, like the Japanese versions, you're like, oh my god, look at these crazy names, man. What was I even doing listening to the English shit that shit
Dude,
show that
One
was
Piece
going
in
on?
English is shit. Sanji is sucking on a lollipop instead of fucking smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? They're ruining the best shows, man.
So thank you, Kelt.
right.
I've
We
just
will-
watched Naruto to add one.
Man, Abhishek,
Yeah.
you gotta start all this shit, man. You are not cool yet. Sorry.
No,
No,
I've just
I
watched
want
Naruto and Death Note, that's it.
start watching Full Metal Alchemist. That's also a short.
I think Brotherhood is better, right? It was
It's
a sort of
better,
a
yeah.
reboot. Yeah.
Brotherhood is better. The only people saying the first version was better are dumb motherfuckers trying to act edgy. Okay, they're just trying to act edgy because it had a darker ending.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a shonen like fucking manga, man.
Yeah.
Like, why would you act like you have to have like some crazy dark future and alternate dimensions and World War One Hitler is having why?
I'll actually bring another friend of mine who's a huge manga fan. I mean, I watch anime. I don't read as many mangas,
Okay.
but he
Manga
is
is the
like.
true art, dude. Manga is the
I
true
know.
art.
I will start. I'm actually so much into comics that I actually started Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, and I was like, okay, let's read Jujutsu Kaisen, and then I realized that I have been reading the wrong way because it is not left to right and then down. It's right to left and then down. I'm like, shit, dude. This is the reason I haven't been understanding shit for the last 5 pages. And then I went back 5 pages and started reading it again. So it's
Dude, we'll end this on a
force
great
of habit.
note, okay?
Yeah.
No, in the sense like it'll come full circle.
Yeah.
If you ever manage to go to Bombay,
Yeah.
there's an open mic venue called Leaping Windows Cafe,
Yeah.
right? The place where they perform is like the basement of the cafe,
Yeah.
and you go there, wall to wall, all 4 sides. They have anthologies of all the greatest fucking mangas and comics. Dude, they have Slam Dunk, Yu Yu Hakusho, all of it like volumes stacked like from wall to wall. It is insane. I have fun there even if I'm not performing.
Dude,
just
I
go chill
have
there.
to. What is the name again?
Leaping Windows Cafe. It's run by Grin Revolution, Rohin Desai and Srimai.
I am
That's so
writing this
good.
down.
Yeah, just check Grin Revolution. on
I know
Instagram.
about them. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. And we end this podcast on that note because if we say another word, it'll definitely lead to another 10-minute arc, probably.
Short arcs.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Abhishek. Thank you so much, Kelt. Have a good night. All right. And
Good
let's
night, guys.
meet next week for the second part. And
Make it to work tomorrow, you know, or if you get late and they're like, why did you get late? Say, there's this guy called Kelt. Okay. He has 10 videos on YouTube.
And man, we have been planning this for a week actually, me and Kelt.
I
And,
know, just kept getting postponed. Like,
and 3 times I forgot, 3 times Kelt forgot. The 7th time we both forgot, and then I was reminded that okay, it is my channel.
This time I got the internet connection.
Yeah, Abhishek got the internet connection. I was like, okay, it is my channel, and I am actually at the responsibility of reminding him. So I was like, let's call Kelt today, and that's how it happened. So thank you, Kelt,
it was
again.
fun, man. All right.
And
Thank you for
we
coming.
had crazy fun with it. This was amazing. And to the people who have come back to my channel and to the people who are new, like the video first of all. Okay, it's very important for you guys to like the video. Comment as much as possible. Share it with your friends if you're comedy fans or you are just jackasses. All right, I'll outright say that. Don't come back to my channel. No, come back to my channel. I'm just kidding. I need subscribers, guys. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'll bring you more and more such podcasts. Maybe more comedians, maybe more poets, and maybe more writers if I'm lucky enough. So let's see. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Couch Potato signing out.